Manchester City are absolutely ridiculous. Manchester City are inevitable. That was absolutely insane. Special footballers do indeed do special things, and they don't get much more special than Erling Haaland, do they? Or John Stones in this instance. City won 2-1 against Dortmund tonight, coming from behind, as they usually do, and I'm a very, very, very happy Stephen right now. I'd be more happy as well if you downloaded OneFootball. Please do click the link in the description and help support my channel. Get the best football app on the market. It's as beautiful as a John Stones 20-yarder, as wonderful and as glorious as an Erling Haaland leap, and as darting and as energetic as a Julian Alvarez press. Download it right now and get all the news about every team, every player, and every goal. Go do it right now. It's wonderful. What are you waiting for? Scan the link, click the link in the description below, and nourish your football knowledge. But let's talk about that. My God. We didn't play well tonight, but what I love about this Manchester City side is they are killers. They are a shark on a beach sensing blood. They will absolutely sweep up if you give them a chance to get even the slightest taste of something delicious. And that's what they did say tonight. Did that make any sense whatsoever? But you know what I'm getting at. City really are just genuinely deadly. We are inevitable, and that's what I love about this City side. We tried to get away with it with the slightly weakened team, and I think you can sense that Pep didn't really probably think that was the best team to win the game, but one that he had to suffer through, maybe not suffer through, but go for to see if we can get away with rotation and so on. But every now and then, you got to bring out the A-team, and I think it's pretty obvious when Bernardo, Foden, and Alvarez came on the pitch, all of a sudden, things absolutely changed. And I tell you what, man, it really, really is exciting to watch when we get going like that, because look, when we get the equaliser, I had zero doubts whatsoever. Absolutely zero doubts. And it's crazy. You can just sense it. The teams are fearful. They sit back and they get panicky. And the crowd get behind it. The players know it. You know it. I know it. The commentators know it. Everyone in that stadium knows it. It's coming. It is inevitable that City will get the winner. And it had to be Haaland tonight. Dragonfly in the comments is right. It had to be him. With a moment of sheer individual brilliance. Honestly, once again, just phenomenal athleticism. How can you be that good? How can you be that good? The pace of R9, the real Ronaldo, the physicality and agility of Zlatan Ibrahimovic, the pure poaching instincts of Inzaghi, the finishing of Cristiano Ronaldo, the brutish strength of a 6'5" centre-back of Joe Nalomo in rugby. Either way, he's an absolute one-off freak of nature, but that is our Erling Haaland, an astonishing footballer. Already, by the way, with 13 goals to his name. All those who said he'd get about 50 to 20 this season, they're looking very, very silly right now, because that's what Erling Haaland does to you, and that's what Manchester City do to you. We have signed a guy who's going to win his games when we don't deserve to win games, possibly like tonight, because when you've got a goal scorer of that natural ability, well, you're going to find a way to get things done. Whipping across, or Travella, whatever it's called, from Cancelo, and guess what? He's going to be a giant there on the end of it with just an insane natural ability, and he is going to score, because City are inevitable, and Erling Haaland is inevitable. A man born to score goals. Honestly, a ridiculous footballer, and I absolutely love him. Mark with the super chat saying, it's inevitable, we'll win them all. Mark, I love it, mate. Mark is always saying win them all. I tell you what, man. I tell you what, when you've got Haaland and Alvarez and Foden and Bernardo and De Bruyne and whatever, oh, it's good. It's really, really, really good. Big love to Mark. Of course, as well, Daniel Madison, member for 17 months, says Alvarez, Haaland, and Phil every single week. I mean, I think it's getting to the point, Daniel, now, if you've got a very big game that we see as important, they're going to start, I reckon. They are starting to play their way into the best 11 in Manchester City. Obviously, occasionally he'll rotate like tonight, because we have got Wolves, of course, at the weekend. You know, Wolves at the weekend at 12:30. He was going to play a few changes here. But do you know what? We're making a strong argument. Let's talk a little bit about the first half and whatever. Look, we struggled a little bit. Look, lots of inverted from, is that a Tottenham reference? Inverted players everywhere. And inverted fullback on the left. John Stones coming into midfield. Green is running into midfield. Mahrez running into midfield. It was narrow, it was predictable, and it was very difficult to watch at times, if we're being honest. And when Dortmund went ahead, they probably deserved it for being a little bit more alive than Manchester City. And of course, it was Bellingham, a man who seems to always score against Manchester City these days, putting in a little bit of a cameo, and not a cameo, a come and get me plea maybe to Guardiola for next season. But either way, it wasn't good. And I kind of didn't expect it to be. I feel like we'd always have enough to get through this game eventually because substitutions are such an effective way to change the game and we have the quality on the bench now. But it still wasn't impressive, you know. It was slow, it was cumbersome, and it wasn't impressive. I am concerned about Riyadh. Hopefully I'm just being premature, and hopefully my concerns are misfounded because I don't want to be right here. I'll get on to Grealish in a little bit as well, but I'm concerned about Riyadh because I'm worried that the hands of time are ticking far too quickly for him, and he may be starting to slow down a little bit. Mahrez always had a very one-dimensional game. A brilliant game, don't get me wrong, but it was still one-dimensional. We always know what he would do. He would get the ball, he would cut back in, occasionally he'd cut back in again and beat a defender, and then he'd shoot with his left foot. Pretty much that was his game. And there's nothing wrong with that because it was brilliant. But it did rely a little bit on being able to get past players. And I wonder, and hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully it's just, you know, it's temporary and his form and energy will come back. But he looks a little bit slower and a little bit less sharp. And usually wingers who used to do that as they get older, they start to not be able to do it quite as well. And I'm really, really worried that he's lost a little bit of pace as his age starts to kick in, and he's lost a little bit of sharpness because it means his game just doesn't work. It does worry me. It could be nonsense, and I could be being premature, but for the past, even towards the end of last season as well, he's not been on it for some time now. And it's not encouraging. He's going to need to start playing better to get back into the team, and I don't think that's unfair either. Grealish is weird with Grealish. Like, he just played poorly. He did. I can't deny it. He kept trying. He was running at people, but he kept getting tackled. He kept trying to shoot, but he kept getting blocked. And it isn't looking good right now. It isn't. I'm not going to defend for the sake of defending. I'm not at all. It feels to me like he just doesn't suit the role that he's being asked to play. Like, he doesn't suit being a left winger in this system. Like, he wants to play in midfield and so on. If that's the case, that's up to Guardiola to find it. But he needs someone overlapping him. He needs an overlapping fullback to do that role effectively, I reckon. He needs Gomez overlapping him or something like that. But whatever it is, Grealish as a one-on-one dribbler, it's not his natural game. And it's not happening for him. It just isn't. And I'm not trying to dig him or Mahrez out here. I'm just trying to call it as I see it. I don't think either of them particularly worked, if I'm being honest. And Mahrez, it could just be a form, hopefully. Maybe he needs an overlapping fullback as well. So he has a little bit of space to dribble into. Maybe Grealish does as well. They'll be fine squad players for this season. And, you know, ultimately, Dortmund are a decent team, so there's no shame, you know, in every now and then rotating players and it being just about enough. But I think it was really, really, really obvious, you know. And someone just said it is the second game after injury, you know, and that's a good point as well. We'll see. But either way, right now, you do wonder, and people have got the right to question, is it going to happen from as a left winger? We will see. We will see. And it wasn't a great performance from a few players either. I don't think Cancelo played well until that assist. Typically Cancelo, a beautiful, wonderful, spectacular cross, and he loves doing that, man. There was that clip of him saying that he loves to do is it called the Trivela or something like that? It's the one that Quaresma made famous. He loves to do that, and he's done it a few times this season already and got assists. And that's what he does. He's a special footballer. And I don't think Kevin De Bruyne played well. He didn't really ever get anything right, and Gundogan wasn't at his creative, controlled best. Defensively, we were fine, by the way. Stones was good defensively. And of course, Stones scored an absolutely ridiculous goal. Where did that come from, man? No, John. Don't shoot, John. Pure Vinny Kompany stuff there. But 20 yards out, you rasped it in. Probably slightly poor goalkeeping. But you know what, man? Sometimes you got to fucking buy a ticket to win the lottery. And John Stone stepped up to that counter, slammed down a tenner, and went, put me in down for the Euro Millions or whatever. And he won it. He won the Euro Millions today. And that is, you know, and I'm happy he did that. Because you got to do that sometimes. And, you know, Stones played the lottery and we won. And I'm very, 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 very happy for him because he gave us that momentum. After that, John Stones doesn't have to do anything after that point, you know, because once we get that equaliser, none of us doubt it. There's like a sense of, they get that smell, you know, that when a shark smells blood in the water and they go into that instinctive, like aggressive hunting mode, you see all their, primal instincts kick in. And this Manchester City side remind me of that. We do have this absolute primal instinct when the teams are sitting back and they sense that fear. And I love it. I love watching City come alive, man. It's like a pack of animals hunting their prey. And that's what I love about this Manchester City side. It's really, really exciting to watch. And I wish it didn't always come to that. But you know what? Throughout this season, there are going to be games where we batter teams 5-0. And there's going to be games every now and then where we have to persevere and get through. And we have to rotate rotate people. We have to get through it. As long as we get the job done, I do not mind. It's an element of just getting it done. Just getting it done. I was talking to someone on Twitter at half time, and I think it was Nabil who runs City Report, and he was saying who thinks that inverted fullbacks, inverted wingers is the right way to do it? I don't think even Pep thinks it's the right way to do it. I don't think he does, by the way. I think Guardiola understands that sometimes you got to rotate your squad, and sometimes you got to try and get away with things because it's for the greater good. Players get rested, and ultimately it's still a collection of very good footballers on the pitch, even if it's a little bit one-dimensional. What Guardiola is hoping for is obviously City to win, but he's hoping that even though it won't be that fluid football, one of them's going to whip it across, and Haaland will get his big stupid toe on the end of it, and we'll be winning 1-0. Then he can bring in the substitutions. Occasionally, it won't happen, and we'll end up 1-0 behind. That's going to happen every now and then. And I think we accept it as part of the risk at this stage of the Champions League anyway, when it's only the second group game of the season, with Wolves coming up. I think he just accepts it as what it is. And we have to understand that he's not doing it because he thinks it's the best team. He's doing it because he feels like he has to. And that's where that's at, in my opinion. And I don't think he underestimated Dortmund personally, Daniel. I don't think he underestimated him at all. I think he's just not. I feel like he just feels like he has to do it because he has to rotate players, he has to rest players, and he has to get everyone involved, and he has to make some changes for the weekend. And that's just how it is. We're going to use all our squad this season. I know we all want our favourite players to play every week. We want Foden to play every week, and we want Alvarez to play every week, and we want Bernardo to play every single week. But it isn't going to happen, and that's just football. We have to be understanding of that Guardiola will make changes every now and then, simply as well because he needs to try and play some players into form as well. We forget that we don't watch him in training. There's a good chance that Mahrez and there's a good chance that Grealish and whatever all played well, in training. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen today. But either way, ultimately, football is a game of 90 minutes. It's a chess game, and half of a battle, is how you respond to moments that aren't particularly fortuitous. And this Manchester City side are incredibly good at responding. And we shouldn't always have to respond, but usually we are the ones taking the initiative. But you can't deny the mentality of this Manchester City side. And you can't deny that his substitutions and so on have been really good. They've been really good, and they changed the flow of the game once again. Not a great performance, but it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. We've won 2 games now in our group stage. No one's got injured. Players have scored. We've won the game. It wasn't a great performance, but it's absolutely fine. Mark says, I want to see more of that Sergio kid at left back. Yeah, I want to see more. And I'm sure we will do, Mark, almost certainly. I think we got to a point now, by the way, that because all our centre-backs are coming back, we're going to start seeing the odd centre-back fullback just to get him on the pitch. Because the problem we've got now is, even though some of them are injury-prone, we're going to have all 5 of them back at some point. And Akanji, once again, by the way, he's really good. He got sat in his arse once, but that happens to every defender when they think they're going to shoot. He has to dive in. He has to try and block it. But Akanji, Akanji is good, man. He's good. And Ake, I thought, was absolutely excellent. Ake, flawless. And I was glad he played tonight. Not because I think it's the best lineup, but I think he deserves to play. So, you've got Ake, you've got John Stones is cracking, Diaz, Akanji, it looks once again that he's a Manchester City player. It's very, very, very tough to get them all in the team at the same time. But I do think we will see games where we play 3 at the back, Daniel. I think we will do. The only thing is, of course, it does sacrifice, potentially an attacker. But either way, I mean, this City performance tonight, it was not a spectacular one, but it was a functional one, and it was one that once again shone the light on this Manchester City's fortitude, and I'm really impressed. I mean, let's talk about Haaland again. What is that now? 13 goals in, is it 8 games? Or do we count the Community Shield? What is it? Either way, it's just a stupid record from a stupid footballer. It's 8 games, isn't it? I'm not counting the Community Shield because it's technically a friendly and it doesn't go towards his stats. 13 goals in 8 games is just stupid. Absolutely stupid. And the best thing about it is he didn't really ever have a touch. He didn't need to have a touch. He's just there to win your games. And and he's got this incredible instinct, incredible physicality. I absolutely love it. I thought Alvarez, by the way, when he came on, Patricio's just mentioned him. Alvarez was excellent. He was a bundle of energy. He was so alive and he was so alert and he was aggressive and he was unlucky with a couple of little moments. But he makes things happen with his pure desire and his work rate. That energy, that desire and hunger of Carlos Tevez mixed with an awareness the space around him and just desire to make things happen. I love it, man. Absolutely should be playing against Wolves. I agree with Hella. He's absolutely should start. If anything, actually, I think he was built for a game against Wolves. Wolves are an incredibly good defensive team. Like, let me have a look now. I'm pretty certain Wolves have one of the best defending records in the league. Here we go. I'll jump over to here right now. Wolves, there we go. They're down in 14th. They do have the best defensive record in the league. They conceded just 4 goals, Wolves, which is mightily impressive. So Wolves will defend, and they will make life very difficult for us. So what you're going to need to break this down, I guarantee you, it is not inverted wingers. It isn't. You need energy. You need desire. You need a little bit of madness, Every now and then you need to spice things up a little bit, Throw a little bit of chaos in there in the melting pot that is Manchester City's forward lines and see what happens. And Alvarez is chaos. And Foden is chaos as well. Bernardo is ingenuity and brilliance. And that's what we need in a game like this. And I'm sure we will do, man. I'm sure we will do. And for Foden, once again, as well, when he came on, Foden was lively, alert. He was running in behind with pace. His little footwork and link up with Bernardo Silva. They added so much, kind of sparkiness to Manchester City's performance. And, that's what I love about those guys, man. They genuinely, they come alive and they're effervescent. They buzz around defenders. And they're so hard to mark because they're just jinking in and out of defenders and you can't get the ball from them. And they have a little dart of pace as well. Like Bernardo, Alvarez and Foden, that is 5'7" excellence there, isn't it? That is peak Guardiola ball. 3 5'7", nippy, wonderfully gifted, dribbling little presses. And I absolutely love it, man. I love it. Those 3 in general, yeah. All 5'7", all brilliant, all lively, all effervescent, all carry their own unique abilities. Absolutely bring them on. My man Scott, I'm having a very good day, mate. I've actually had a weird day, I'll be honest. I've had a weird day today. I've had a strange day. Feeling a bit one down, and I had some around. Yeah, I can't get. I won't go into a video, but I've had a weird day. But it's all good right now. Nicholas downstairs playing that Disney Dreamlight Valley game, whatever. I had a pizza first time in ages with some dairy-free cheese, and it was great, and I loved it. So I'm having a weird day today. I had strange stuff going on with a labourer we had at the house earlier today. I won't go into the video because I don't know who's watching this, but it was fucking weird. Very weird day. But either way, I'm good. Hope you all had a good day. Alfredo Manchado said, is it too reactionary to say that we basically always need to start one of Foden and Bernardo because they do have the electric quality that sometimes we lack? Yes and no. Alvarez is another one that can bring that. Look, there's times when we'll play those 2 wingers and we'll get away with it because De Bruyne will do something or Grealish will cross it well and Morris will pick out, Haaland or whatever. So we don't always need to do it. We will sometimes require it, but we can get away with it, so to speak. But I think it's essential to say that if you want to, break, if you really, 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 really think it's going to be a difficult game, one of those has to be on the pitch, man. I think as well, people have dug out Foden a little bit this season, which I think has been very premature, I think it's been a little bit harsh, and he's not been perfect, but I think he's still his desires there. But I think you can really see the difference Foden makes when he's on the pitch. He runs in behind and he runs at people, and it's so exciting to watch him going. Please do hit the like button, by the way. Please do hit the like button. It'd be massively appreciated. Let's get over to 200 likes if we can do. Thomas said, I'm scared for the day we go behind and we're all relaxed and we actually lose somehow. Hopefully it never comes. Oh, it's going to happen one day. Yeah, of course it is. It's going to happen one day. We can't always come from behind. And you know what? And I do think we'll largely shake the habit of going behind in the first place. But right now, we're still finding our rhythm. And it is what it is. But yeah, I'm absolutely all right. I'm relaxed about it. It'll happen one day, but I think more often than not we'll win, and that's all that matters. I don't really care how we win. I know we always want to watch scintillating football, but we get a lot of that, and I don't mind scrappy football. And do you know what? I enjoy a game like tonight because it shows just how much desire this team has got. Even though it was difficult and it was tough, there's something to be said for just getting the job done. The very great teams, the genuinely great all-time teams, they find a way to win. They find a way to win when it looks difficult, and they do. And this is what this Manchester City side keeps showing. Look, if you want to judge a team by its hunger, have they got the hunger to go again after winning so many Premier League titles and so many trophies? Have these players got that desire to go again? And I think those questions are answered when you see the desire from this team. Like, they are natural born winners and they want to win. And like those little moments, even though they're painful to get there, you know, you do learn a lot from the team when they stand up to adversity. They look it in the eyes and they answer that question. And this Manchester City side do that an awful lot. And they pretty much always have the answer. And you can't deny that inherent desire to win and that inherent self-belief that they've got. So you can look at it negatively, and I understand that it's frustrating being in those positions in the first place, but you can turn to look at it the other way, and you could go, Dortmund are a decent team. The Champions League is a hard competition. And once again, when things look tough, this Manchester City side found the solutions. And that, to me, is a positive. Because I know we will play better. We will play better. But if we're playing off and we still find a way to win, look, that's perfect. In football, that's perfect. If you can still find a way to win, even when you're not playing well guess what? It's a cliche. But that is the sign of champions. It absolutely is. And that's why we are champions, because we have that innate ability. Frank Morton says City have to do everything they can to make sure Bellingham doesn't go to Liverpool. I absolutely agree, by the way. There are rumours that massive influx of cash that Manchester City have just taken this summer, you know, a record inward receiving transfer amount. There's rumours that will be for midfielders next year, because there's a likelihood Bernardo goes, there's a likelihood Gundogan goes. We have to buy midfielders, and I would take in a heartbeat Bellingham. I think he's a fantastic footballer that would improve to another level under Guardiola. Frock, you're absolutely bang on, my friend. Pete Shepherd saying, inevitable, Stonesy thinks he's Vincent, let's go. I love it, man. I love it. It was a Vinny-esque moment. And you know what? John Stones has earned the right to do that as well. He's earned the right to do it, and I was that happy for him. Like, I did not see that coming from nowhere, but it was absolutely wonderful stuff. And that's what I love about football, man. You know, I tweeted that you could probably sit there and spend all day trying to work out how a goal outcome would be it, I don't know, a cross from Cancelo to Haaland, or a little 1-2 of Haaland and Foden, or Gundogan ghosting in the back of the box and tapping it in, or I don't know, I can get on the end of a cross from a corner, or KDB whipping it into someone at the back post or whatever. But you'd genuinely struggle to come up with John Stones from right back 20 yards into the roof of the net. And that's what I love about football as well. It can be frustrating, but it's also brilliant, isn't it, man? It's also brilliant. And that's football in a nutshell. It has those moments of just insanity, and I love it. It's chaos, but it's fun to witness. So even though obviously we didn't play well tonight, going back to the overriding message, I'm not concerned. Don't matter. It doesn't matter. But I love what we learned, you know, and I can't wait to do my 5 things learned tomorrow. Anthony said, today's obvious statement. I love the energy Tasty Alvarez brings on the pitch of him. Still underrated outside of the club at the minute. Oh, absolutely. He is. But he will get there. You know, people are alert to him. Gary Neville, when I was on the overlap, Neville said that, you know, people at City are really excited by this guy. I think he could be special. I think a few pundits are tuned into it and they know he could be special. And he's, he's got a quality. I don't think, you know, that's Rotunda said, English fans never learn. By the way, I love the sweeping generalizations, you know. I love it when you do that. It's like me saying, I don't know where you're from, Matando, but it's like me saying everyone in your country is exactly the same. I don't think it's very fair, and I think it's very narrow-minded. He said, now you want Bellingham after Grealish flopped, overrated and overhyped. What, are you saying that about John Stones as well? Or Kyle Walker, you know? Or these other players who've been successful who are English at Manchester City? Look, Grealish hasn't played well, and he's not really got there yet. Let us see where Grealish is in a few years' time. You know, I don't think he's a left winger in this Manchester City system. But either way, the idea that Bellingham's career has got anything to do with Jack Grealish's, look, it is silly. It's absolutely silly. It's like saying Man City shouldn't sign, Bernardo if they get a chance because Bruno is inconsistent at United. Like, it's irrelevant. Like, what Bellingham and Grealish's career have absolutely nothing to do with each other. You know. It's just not fair. You can't say never sign an English player again. Like, it's not what. It doesn't make any sense, you know. In the same way, you'd never sign a French player because we signed Mangala once, you know. Would you not take Cameron Wenger or something like that? You know, like, I don't know. I think like it's silly. But I do agree, it's not working with Grealish right now. People were talking about Sane. Sane is never coming back, by the way. He's never coming back. He made his bed, and now that boy's going to lie in it. And I think there's too much pride there from both Leroy and Pep. It ain't ever going to happen. But I want to see Grealish in the midfield. I want to see him more in the middle. I do. I don't think he suits a one-on-one winger. The weird thing is, I don't think it's from a lack of trying. That's not weird, I guess. He just isn't from a lack of trying. Like, you can see Grealish really wanted to make things happen, but he's just, he's just struggled. He's just struggled. He did. What stands out is Alvarez is that he literally never gets tired to Zephyrus. He runs the whole game and recovers the ball if necessary, together with Haaland, who's been an assist machine since he's not selfish. I agree, Zephyrus. I actually think Haaland looks alive when Alvarez comes on the pitch. And I think, to be honest, in general, I think the City just looked more alert and more alive when those three came on the pitch. Bernardo, Alvarez, Foden. Like, you can immediately see the little runs into the channels. You can immediately see how much more direct Man City were. And that started pulling Dortmund defenders away because there was more variety and more hustle to Manchester City's game. I know it sounds really basic, but that little bit of hustle is just important sometimes. It was Majis. It was a big game indeed, mate. It wasn't for the faint-hearted, but that was a great result in the end. Dortmund literally played 6-3-1-2 second half. They did, and they got every right to do it. It was difficult. But yeah, like overall, I always prefer to look at the positives when we've won. I know, because I know what the negatives are, and I always say this, but I'm going to say it again. Guardiola knows what the negatives are too. Guardiola knows what he's doing, and he knows that there'll be negatives sometimes when he puts the players on the pitch. But football is all about balance, and sometimes you got to take sacrifices, and sometimes you got to make a calculated gamble, so to speak. But also you got to bear in mind Guardiola will trust his squad, and he'll trust these players because do you know what a one-way ticket to failing is? Playing the same players every single week, never changing them, and pissing off half your squad. You can't do that. It's not how you manage football. You manage people by giving them all a chance, by not running certain players into the ground. I know we all just want to play the same players every single week, but this isn't FIFA Ultimate Team, man. This ain't Football Manager. You can't just do that. It ain't a computer game. And so every now and then, you've got to switch things around, and Guardiola knows that. Ultimately, Guardiola... he understands this a lot more than us, and even though it can appear frustrating from the outside in, I think we sit there and presume Guardiola isn't aware. He is aware, but it's a calculated gamble. This manager, who's the greatest probably manager to grace the game, he's one of them anyway. He's absolutely aware when things aren't working, and he's aware that things sometimes won't work, but you still try it anyway because you have to. Because you have to get everyone involved. And even though it's painful to watch, it's just football, and it's just that's the practicalities and the realistic life that we have to go through as Man City fans every now and then. But either way, where you've got Haaland, there is a chance, isn't there? Yeah, King Cassie said, Haaland is scoring like this with barely a chance a game. Imagine when we create more for him. Oh, Kyle Kenny, welcome so much, man. Thank you so much, Kyle Kenny, member. Big love to Kyle Kenny. Kyle, thank you so much, man. You absolute superstar. I'll update that tomorrow and get you on the Wall of Fame over there. Kyle, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. What a guy. Hella, thank you so much. I don't think I don't understand. Do you know what? I'm not a tactical genius, Hella, but I understand the philosophy. I understand, I understand squad management, like I get it, I think it's relatively common sense. Look, ultimately, the footballers are people. They are, and look, the best way for a squad to be successful is if all the squad's happy. So every now and then you got to play the guy who isn't in the best form, but he's trying his hardest. And look, Guardiola will sometimes play players if they're not playing well, but if they turn up in training and work really hard and they show good squad morale and they're cheering on their teammates, and they're still trying to do everything that manager asks from them, you have to sometimes reward a player for trying and being professional. I know that sounds really, really simple, but sometimes you got to do that, man. You got to do it because that is how you manage people, and people deserve a chance sometimes by their attitude, their mentality, and their work rate. And I think we forget that you don't always just play the players in form. Players are in form until they're not, and vice versa. And you don't know what's going to make a player sometimes. So, but that's what it is. Majis, you absolute superstar, man. Thank you so much. Majid said, that's fucking incredibly generous of you, my friend. This has been the OG City YouTube guy. Hope Nicola's doing well. Thank you so much, man. I've been making videos for several years now, and I've been trying to do this, and I love doing it. Thank you so much. And Nicola's wonderful, thank you. Our little baby is kicking footballs in the belly, and we can't wait to meet, our little one. Any moment, really, Within the next 3 weeks, baby's due, which is crazy. Hence why I took a couple of days when football was cancelled to just take it a little bit easy because we needed to do loads of life admin. When you're about to be a parent, I realised you nest hard. You nest real hard, and we've been doing a lot of nesting. Thank you so much, man. Nicola's wonderful. She's downstairs right now, sat on the Xbox playing Disney's Dreamlight Valley, which is Animal Crossing with Disney characters, and she seems very happy. Thank you so much, Majid. You're an absolute legend. Absolute legend. So yeah, but I know it's been 9 months already. Yep, just some guy. It's been close to 10 months actually. It's crazy, isn't it? It'll be the due date is 8th of October. That's a 10-month. It's 10. People don't realize, by the way, it's actually technically like 10 months a term. You know, we think we conceived around mid-January. I think we knew what happened. We were wasted. So yeah, enjoy your sleep while you can, JRX. And do you know what? Already. I'm already getting to the point where I wake up in the middle of the night and I want to touch Nicola's belly just to make sure the little one's kicking and moving okay, because he's so close now, so close that you start to worry because you just want to meet them. You want to meet them so much. You can feel them physically, and it's the best thing in the world because I can wake up at 4 a.m. and I'm sorry to change the subject here a little bit, but I can wake up at 4 a.m. and I think straight away, I immediately think of the baby. It's the first thing I think of. So I put my hand on Nicola's belly. You can tell baby's asleep, and it's the cutest thing in the world because in a minute or two later, you start to feel a little stir. Before I know it, all I can feel is my hand and just moving around. And I'm like, I lie there in the middle of the night, and Nicola's asleep, and I'm just smiling, playing with the baby in her belly, and it's just the best feeling in the world. And I can't wait. I can't wait to put the little baby in the city kit, and I can't wait for you all to meet them. It's going to be amazing. But anyway, that's my cheesy little thing. I'm very tired because I'm not sleeping because I'm constantly worried, but I can't wait to meet them. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone. You're all very, very sweet. Hopefully I'll be a good dad, just some guy. You know, I can't wait. Anyway, get the likes of everyone. Emotional what? Yeah, I am John, actually. I am. Nicola's wonderful. Do you know what? We snooker is weird. It is weird, but it's wonderful. It's beautiful, and I've never been more in love with Nicola than I am right now. It's crazy. She's just immense. She's just the chillest person. She's there, like, taking it all in a stride. She's an absolute... It's crazy. You see your partner in a totally different way. Anyway, football. Football is good. Life is good. Manchester City are good. And Haaland's good. And Foden's good. Life is very good. It wasn't perfect, but you know what? There's a beauty in imperfection sometimes. There really is. We constantly seek perfection. But it's funny, isn't it, that even though most of us never reach perfection, we still have an awful great time on the way there. And I think that's quite telling, really, isn't it? You don't have to have a perfect day for it to be the best day ever, do you? And I know it sounds really silly, but the amount of times you can be there, right? You can be out on a mountain somewhere and get absolutely drenched, freezing cold. You can lose your car keys, but you remember that day forever. That tells you an awful lot about life, doesn't it? You know, and I can enjoy football sometimes, even though it's not perfect. And that's how I feel about tonight as well. So that is something, to my opinion, worth remembering. A little bit of sage advice for you there. Don't worry about being perfect because it ain't always going to happen. But it doesn't mean you can't enjoy it anyway. That is what I'm going to leave it on. City are inevitable. I enjoyed it. Even though it wasn't perfect. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching this video. Please do download OneFootball. Click the link in the description. City made it difficult tonight, but we found a way to win. And to me, that is what matters. I hope you all enjoyed it. Big love to you all. Tomorrow morning will be 5 things learned. I can't wait to do it. It'll be wonderful. Anyway, good night. Love you all loads. Catch you all very, very soon. Up the Blues.